The shrill whistle of the manal's alarm call alerts a musk deer. By early June, the pheasants of the Himalayas are incubating. Some already have chicks. The blood pheasant nests on the ground, often at the foot of a tree. She lays 5 to 10 brownish, dark-spotted eggs. Incubation is carried out solely by the female and takes 28 to 29 days. The manal pheasant's nest is often in the shelter of a rock. The cockbird's share of the responsibility is to stand guard by the nest site. This nest is in a cleft in the rocks. The hen will have lined it with dry leaves and moss. Manal hens are experts at concealing their nests. She makes a typically cautious approach. The average clutch is about 6 whitish, brown speckled eggs. The cock will remain close by during the 4 weeks she's on the eggs. Though he doesn't share the incubation, he'll sometimes remain on guard when she leaves to feed. If the cock deserts his post while the hen's away, the nest becomes highly vulnerable. No matter how well hidden it is, there are always sharp eyes that will have spotted the pair's comings and goings. Few eyes are sharper than those of the crow family, and this crow has a family to feed. The red-billed chough is a relative of the crow, but it's not an egg stealer, though it seems to know where the nest is. The crows have already done their worst. The hen manal returns to find her nest has been raided. All that remains of the clutch is a heap of plundered eggshells. The cock staying near the nest may be a sort of insurance. The pair may have time to mate again. Even if 6 eggs hatch out, only 1 or 2 chicks usually survive into autumn and winter. This hen may not even do as well as that. After 2 weeks, she has only got 2 of her brood still with her. It seems likely that 2 young per pair is all the manal pheasant needs in order to remain healthy as a species. This may have been true until recently. Now, unfortunately, man is changing the rules, not only for the manal, but for many of the rare pheasants who live in the high mountain woodlands. Part of this mountainside is still well forested, but it's probably doomed. Just along the valley, the trees have already largely disappeared. It's the same story the world over. Trees that took hundreds of years to grow are being felled without plan and without any replanting for the future. The damage done by the indiscriminate felling of tall timber is obvious. These trees are irreplaceable, at least within several hundred years. But elsewhere in the Himalayas, where many of the rare pheasants live, there's another problem. A great increase in mountain trekking, some of it irresponsibly run, has begun to make inroads into small trees and shrubs on which the pheasants depend. They're cut for firewood. Deforestation of trees, both large and small, is the real threat, not only to the manal, but to all the other mountain species. The problem is common to every country in the Far East, where timber is in great demand and represents a quick profit. The wildlife authorities of these countries are usually very aware of the dangers, but too often, wildlife and conservation come under the control of a forestry department, which has opposing aims and objects. This forest appears to have been reasonably well felled, but there's no sign of replanting. Bare hillsides are the more usual result of a felling program. Obviously, a middle road can be found which will suit both forester and wildlife. It's an urgent matter that calls for sound economic planning, propaganda, and education. Propaganda and education are the concern of the organization that has a headquarters by the side of this tranquil trout lake, close by the Thames in Middlesex. At first sight, it doesn't have much to do with pheasants, but this is one of the headquarters of the World Pheasant Association. The WPA acts as a sort of gene bank for many of the world's rare and endangered species, including the main subject of this program, the Himalayan manal. But of course it's no good breeding rare pheasants like the manal or another Himalayan species, the cockless, unless when you return their offspring to the wild in their native lands, they have a good chance of survival. So each summer, the World Pheasant Association brings over wildlife experts from the Far East to train them in the rearing and release of endangered species. Mir Inayat Ullah is Chief Wildlife Warden for Jammu and Kashmir. As such, he's highly placed to see that suitable habitat is maintained and controlled for release of birds in his own country. However high-ranking he may be back home, here he carries out the daily chores familiar to a British gamekeeper, gathering up the eggs each morning from the pens and marking them for incubation here or shipment to the Far East. Each egg is marked with species and date. K stands for cockless. This batch of cockless eggs, carried in a bucket of wheat for safety's sake, is to go under broody hens. Bantams make the best foster mothers for pheasant eggs. A dummy clutch of china eggs to persuade the hen to sit are taken out and the cockless eggs substituted. As far as the broody is concerned, they're just eggs. She'll never know the difference. But these eggs are taking a different route. They're cockless and manal eggs. Tonight, they'll be on a plane en route to Delhi and then on to Inayat Ullah's own state. There, previously trained wildlife staff will hatch them by incubator and eventually release the birds in a securely protected habitat. The WPA has already successfully carried out similar transplants in Pakistan, Thailand, and Nepal. In the face of such vast-scale deforestation across the Far East, you could dismiss such efforts as spitting against a hurricane. But they do work, on a small scale at least, where there is cooperation from the countries concerned. Rare mountain pheasants need all the help they can get. For when the trees and shrubs have gone, they will be gone too.